If you are finding yourself lost in the sea of mathematical books, unable to find which one to select, confused, perplexed, then this video is meant for you. In today's video, what I'm going to do is that give you a complete guideline, a thorough step-by-step checklist through which you can find out what is the right way in which you can select a book in mathematics. Just to tell you before I start that this video is meant for a general mathematics book. It is not only meant for higher school grads, differential geometry, topology, calculus or arithmetic. This video is a general video, a general guideline in order to know, checklist yourself and be aware what are the do's and don'ts in order to select the right mathematics book. Remember, selecting a wrong book can create a lot of difference. Today, the subject that you read, the subject that you love, and you say, this is my favorite subject, that is meant for a book. Maybe you have read the right book has instigated and motivated you, and that is why you tell a subject to be interesting. Selecting a wrong book can be disastrous. It can lead to disastrous consequences, and maybe for lifetime you lose the interest in reading a particular subject. So whether you are a college graduate or you are a science graduate or you're doing your PhD or you're just an enthusiast in order to know more about the realm and the world of mathematics, this video is going to give you a complete guideline, a step-by-step approach, what are the do's and don'ts, and at the end of the day, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a very bonus tip in order to understand and know what is the right book in mathematics to select. My name is Shaunak and you're watching this video on my channel Physics for Students. Welcome to this video, how to select the right book in mathematics. First, let me tell you what is the objective of this video. This video, as I told you right at the beginning, is not meant for a specific class or a semester or a typical book in mathematics. This video is meant for a general public. Point number 2, in this video you will be learning what are the steps, what are the checklist do's and don'ts that you need to do. You can very well apply to those and you can get a better understanding. Lastly, what I would also like to tell is that in this video you will be getting certain techniques in which you can apply, but also you can improvise further techniques which you think that it is right. Setting the objective of the video, given you a complete introduction, let us start first with what you need to do. So first coming up on the screen is that identifying your learning goals. Now what I'm trying to tell is that whenever you are selecting a particular book, you have a goal on itself, right? Now what is that goal? Maybe your goal is to just go over the general mathematics book. You are very curious. You're not going into any examination or you're not going into mathematics as a career. But what you're going to do, you can just select any kind of book. You will read through and you'll understand. So if that is the case, that is basically what you call is the goal of your learning, then there is a separate kind of book you should go for that. Your objective or your learning goal is maybe that you want to just do lot of exercises. There's a separate book for that. I hope I can make myself clear. So identifying the particular goal, everybody has not a goal. Now, for example, I am selecting a book on quantum mechanics through which I can make better videos. So for that, my approach to that book will be to know more about the presentation, easy representation, the script, etc. because I want to make better videos on quantum mechanics by reading that book. Your goal might be that you want to go ahead and get a good marks. Somebody else's goal might be that I just want to go through the quantum mechanics and know what is going on in the popular quantum realm. Another person might have a objective that, okay, I want to know what are the current research. This is the point which gets confused. Until and unless you identify your goal, you're not in the right position or you cannot take a right decision to purchase a book. So first thing would be that you need to identify the particular goal. You should be very clear in your mind exactly what do you want. Now, if there is no harm that you said, okay, I just want to get a popular science book in quantum mechanics, just need to know, that is absolutely fine. But in the sense that you want to do well in mathematics, you want to excel good score in mathematics, etc., then that book would be something different. So I just started with an example of quantum mechanics because quantum mechanics also do have a lot of mathematics. I'm making a very quick video on what are the mathematics of quantum mechanics. So first of all, identify the particular goal. The next point what I would like to tell is that there are different kinds of books which are available. For example, there can be textbooks. Now, textbooks are meant to serve a definite purpose. You are in a university, in a college, and you are undergoing that specific course. So you need to select a textbook. There can be reference books also. Reference books are just to take the reference. There can be books which are just for problem solving. That means that book assumes that you know whatever level of mathematics, but you will just do the problem. So there are 100, 200, 300 problems. And these are solved problems. So you pick up a problem, you solve it, and then you tally whether your answer is right or not. So the question is that part one, if you do not identify the goal, you cannot come to point number two. That is, which textbook is meant for you. Because if the goal is just to pass in an examination, there is a different book. The goal is just to maybe going through history of mathematics. I see wonderful, great book on the history of mathematics. I also read a lot of book on the history of mathematics. Up there, as you can see, the screen is showing a little bit. Those are the racks of books which I have got. So that is the history of mathematics. Popular mathematics, no harm in that. You can just read what is going on in the current world about mathematics. That is so. Mathematical biographies, another objective, that I don't want mathematics, but I want to read the life of Carl Gauss, or maybe Aryabhatta, or maybe Bernhard Riemann, or anything else. So depending upon identifying a particular goal that you have, what is the objective in your life, what is the particular area that you want to learn, you have to select the book. So identifying the goal is one of the most important. Right on your screen, assess your current level. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me explain you. Assess your current level means that everybody's level of mathematics are different. Now, it is not whether it is good or bad. It is that it is different. Your current level of mathematics, my level of mathematics, A, B, C, Tom, Dick, Harry, there are different levels of mathematics. So when you are selecting a book, first of all, you need to understand that what is your current mathematics level. That means what is that? What is the mathematics level that you want? Say, for example, I assume you're a 10 plus or you're a class 12 plus and you are going to do mathematics maybe into BSc or whatever. So your level of assessment is that I know mathematics up to class 12. Now here is a problem. The problem is that without knowing or assessing the current level of mathematics, either we are overconfident or we are underconfident. Most of the time I feel underconfident. For example, even if I know mathematics up to the master's level, I will feel that no, I don't know that. So what happens? Selecting a book which is not up to your level again is a wastage of time. Obviously, you are rereading those concepts, you are rereading those theorems, you are rereading those areas which you already know. So then what is the point of selecting the book? I hope I can make yourself understand. So assessing a current level is very, very important, and you need to be very unbiased, not judgmental, in order to know that, okay, see boss, this is what I am. Neither I am plus 10, nor I am minus 10. I mean to say from the mark. So what you need to do is that you need to first assess your current level and be very unbiased, not judgmental, and based on that, you need to select the particular book. So assessing the level is very important, and you should select the book up to that level or maybe a little bit higher than that. Don't select books that are below your level. You might feel that, okay, I'm reading a book I almost know, but the thing is that is a wastage of time. It's a wastage of time, it's a wastage of energy, because you already know what are the things that they are. Okay, coming to the next most important point, which is right there on your screen, is that read reviews and recommendations. Now, there is a pro and a con. Now, what is the advantage? First of all is that you need to check the credibility of the reviewer. So, for example, I am purchasing a book, for example, online. So nowadays, it is good that in online you can read a lot of reviews. Number one. Second thing is you need to check the content, that is the depth at which the book is written. You need to find the clarity in terms of explanation. That means whether the reviewer or the person who is recommending is saying that, okay, I know this level of clarity is being given. Also the engagement style. I will come to the engagement style later, and the scope and the purpose of the book. Okay. Now here I would like to tell few important points. Now, for example, I am reviewing a book by somebody has given a review, and that person is basically a mathematician. That person is basically a mathematician, and he or she has given a very critical review of that book, has told what are the positive things and what are the negative things. Now see, my clarity or my objective is not to become a mathematician. It's just to have a basic idea of whatever be the book. Here is a mismatch. So if you read the recommendation of a mathematician, but your goal is not to become a mathematician, but just to learn the basics of the book or basic idea of the book or the subject of mathematics, then there is a mismatch. Because a mathematician will do the recommendation, do a critical review based on his or her idea. And what you will do, you will think that this mathematician has spoken excellent about that book. And when you pick up that book, oh my goodness, you are lost. Why? Because the book is too much technical. Why? Because the book is too much rigorous, and that is not your objective. So remember, when you are reading the recommendation, you cannot compare an orange to an apple. What do I mean by that is that when you're reading a recommendation of a particular author, make sure that your objective or the level of assessment which I just spoke is matching with the recommendation of the author. Now, if I am not a PhD or a doctorate and I read the review of a mathematician, then if I pick up that book, that will be a wrong choice. So the credibility of the reviewer is very important. The content and the depth and everything is very important, but it has to match with the purpose that you are purchasing that book. Now, say for example, I want to do just problems. I want to excel and do a great score in my mathematics, and what I do, or I need the review or the recommendation of those people who have the same purpose. That means those people also have the same objective, just to do lot of exercises and get good score in mathematics. If my objective is research, tally with the researcher. If my objective is popular science book, tally it with those recommenders. So review and recommendation is good. Definitely you should go, and I would also tell that don't read one review, go for multiple reviews. To be very honest with you, I in general for FMCG or other goods, I generally don't trust online business. But for books, yes, I have purchased a huge amount of books, both through online and by offline. But I have seen that reading one recommendation really doesn't make any sense. Also, the recommendation that that person is giving based on his or her talent, mathematical credibility, mathematical knowledge, it might not match with me, because my assessment, my credibility and my knowledge is something different. So here is a point that you should remember. You should read multiple reviews, you should read multiple recommendations, but also keep it in mind that those recommendations should match with the level, the mathematical or the knowledge level that you have. Coming to the next part is the author's credential and reputation. Now, here also I have to say a few things. One is that obviously the educational expertise and the background definitely matters. The teaching experience and the pedagogical skills, that means the reviews, the way it has been written, have a note on that. Published research and works. If you are reading a book, say for example about a person, then that person, how many research works he or she has published, that is something very important. Reputation and recognition in the field, how much that person is really known. I mean to say, is it just any person like me, or somebody else who is quite known in that field? So that has to be clarified. You can go to ResearchGate or you can go to internet, confirm whether there are multiple researchers, whether that person is well recognized or not, and whether somebody has endorsed that book or not. Again, here is another problem. There are very good people, I mean to say there are very good authors who write books who are non-mathematicians. Now, what I would like to tell here is a point is that not necessarily that a good mathematician will be a good writer. Absolutely not. I have seen I cannot take the name, I hope you can understand the reason this is YouTube, it's an international platform. But the reason is that very good people, very good mathematicians who are excellent, maybe Nobel laureate, but they are not good writers. But people who are not good mathematicians are excellent writers. So here also you have to think what exactly you want. For example, if I am taking up a book on calculus, or for example, okay, let us say, for example, I have taken up a book of a calculus, and this is written by a super person who is absolutely super A++ in calculus. Maybe the person who is writing that book, I mean to say the credential of that book is super. He has got 5-star, great recommendation. But when you pick up that book, you find that it is unreadable. You find that it is non-approachable. You find that the style and the way of writing is something that you cannot comprehend. So remember that when an author is writing that book, it is not necessarily, although you have to check on this, educational background, teaching experience, published research, but this is always not true. That means that a person who is an excellent Nobel laureate might not write a very good book. And I will tell you, I have spoken this in my earlier video, that how can you be a good mathematics teacher? It is not always that in order to become a good mathematics teacher, you have to be a Nobel laureate, absolutely go, get good score, great score in mathematics. But rather, history shows that those people who have scored less in mathematics can become a better teacher. The reason is that they can understand the pain zones and the problems of the students. Now, if I would have been a great Nobel laureate or a person absolutely great in terms, somebody called Terence Tao, right? Then I would not understand the pain of the other student. Then I would not become a teacher, because a Terence Tao always excels in mathematics. At the age of 21, I think he got the PhD. So this is something important when you are reviewing or when you are understanding that it is not necessarily that a great person with great research work will write a book. Rather, I have seen semi-knowledge or a more or less average knowledge in mathematics, or a a college graduate or a university graduate can write book better. The question is that, again, what is your objective? What is the book that you are fixing up? If you are absolute layman and you select a book of a mathematician who is writing calculus, you are selecting a wrong book. So you have to remember this. Okay. Coming up with the next part is that check the book structure and content. What do I mean by that? I have a lot of books up there which shows, for example, I cannot name that. But when you pick up that book, the book is written maybe on a comical structure. I mean to say, I have made reviews in my other channel, General Relativity Explained, but the books are explained on a very comical, using comical structures, cartoons, emojis, etc. Now for me, I myself, Shaunak, I am not quite okay with this kind of book. But you might be very good, you might enjoy, you might like that style of writing. So first thing is that you need to check the structure of the book and the way it is written, and whether that way of writing actually attracts you or not. So first point would be the logical progression and organization. Very recently, I will tell you a real life experience. One of my valued subscriber named a book, I am not naming, a very good book in differential geometry. And he told me that, sir, can you tell me what is your recommendation of the book? I told certain things. I hope you understand that this book has got this, but I don't think this book has got a proper organization logically. Logical organization means that it will start right from zero, and just the way it has to be taught in the class, that book will teach you one by one and finally come to the conclusion. So check the logical consistency, whether it is picking up from there, whether it is picking up from there, or it is going in a sequential way. Second point, which we often miss, is that coverage of essential topics. At all they are covering the essential topics, or it is just going bypassing things. This is very important. Third is that exercises and practice problem. Now, obviously, this is for grads or undergrads who wants that, okay, I will read the book and vis-a-vis, I will do a lot of exercises, especially in calculus, calc 1, 2, or for example, wave mechanics or areas of geometry. Exercise and practice problems are essential. So check whether that books have exercises. It might be that that book is very good in terms of explaining the concept, but do not have an exercise explanation. Fine, you then get hold of another book. Third is that examples and illustration. This is particularly for postgraduate students who are doing areas like abstract algebra, ring theory, or group theory, where things are very difficult to explain always in numbers or in writing. So illustrations are very important, and you know that illustrations, colorful illustration makes life easy. Although the book become a little bit costly, I agree to that, but that is important. So logical progression, whether it is done properly, 1 or 2, coverage of the essential, this is very important. Okay. Now we come to the most important part, which I think I have spoken a lot into my videos on differential geometry. That is, go for a book that assumes you know nothing. Yes, there are books which teaches you right from ground level or grassroots level. I understand those books are difficult to difficult to procure, or maybe they are very expensive, but I would suggest that best thing is that to go for books that assumes nothing. Now, say for example, I will just mention the name of the book. I think I have already emailed to many of our subscribers, is that From Non-Euclidean Euclidean to Non-Euclidean Geometry. This is a typical book which assumes nothing. Now, what is the target? I want to learn non-Euclidean geometry. What is the goal? Do I want to become a mathematician? No. What is my goal? I want to learn non-Euclidean geometry so that I can get a basic idea of that part. So what is the base? Obviously Euclidean geometry. What is the root? That is class Euclidean geometry, starting from angles, triangles, etc. So what I always try to, when you read or peruse through the book, always try to go ahead with books that assumes nothing. Now here is something, what is the advantage I will tell you. The first advantage is that I assume that the book know nothing, and for example, you are reading that book and you know up to chapter 4 and the actual chapter starts from chapter 5. No harm in that. You can always reread that book. So assuming that you know nothing helps you to brush up those concepts, and in case purpose number 2, that really you don't know nothing, then it builds up the base. Particular subject, but it is always better that you can brush up those areas and you take a book which assumes nothing. In my videos, if you go to my channel Physics for Students, you see in differential geometry specifically, I think, or mostly in differential geometry, complex analysis, I have spoken and I have given reviews of lot of books. Topology, another example, which give reviews of lot of books which assumes nothing. The books are expensive, the books are very heavy, and then you need to go through step by step, but that is an excellent way to learn, and one simple book actually serves all the purpose. Otherwise you have to go to this and this. So that would be actually my advice in order to select a book that assumes nothing. The next point before we conclude is that the book style and the way of delivery. Now see, in this aspect there are a lot of ways in books that are written. Okay, some books are written in a conversational mode. That means one is writing, one is answering, one is asking, one is answering. So that is one way of writing the book. You might enjoy, but you have to be sure that what is the style that you really like and pick it up on that. Certain styles which I just told you, pics of cartoon, comical figures, all those things, that is also a good style of writing. Maybe it suits with you. The third style of writing is a very boring, rigorous book. It will just start directly with the subject. So that is also a style. Those people who really like it can purchase that book. Another important style is that it starts with a little bit of historical development. That means the book actually gives you a historical aspect. That say, for example, I'm learning probability. Why probability? What was the history of probability? Why we need probability? And then it will come to the mathematics of probability. I think that would be the best approach for the book, because once you learn the history, you learn a lot about that subject, and secondly, you see a definitive purpose, an objective, that why I'm learning this subject, be it probability, be it Hilbert space or anything. So the book style and the way of delivery, I would say just go through that pages, and that is the good thing. If you go offline, you go to a bookshop and you can brush through those and get the fresh new smell of the book. It is nostalgic, right? So, but you cannot take it online. Online, I think, gives a review of just 3, 4, 5 pages. So book style is very important. And lastly, I will come to the point that is budget and accessibility. Now here is a wrong notion again. Those books which are very expensive are very good, and those books which are less expensive, absolutely not. A budget is something which the publisher decides, and it depends upon a lot of things. So try to get hold of those books which are within your budget. And accessibility. By accessibility, I mean to say you are unable to find, so keep keep a note on those things. Also try to find that whether there are supplementary materials which are available with the book. I mean to say, in our days there used to be a CD which is given in the book, computer, etc., and then we see what are the problems, etc. So nowadays I'm sure that there are a lot of accessibility, a lot of, I would say, additional features, things which are given with the book. So make sure on that. Coming back to the last point, which is, I told you that I would like to give you a bonus tip. The bonus tip is that whenever you are purchasing a particular book, I mean to say, obviously books related to science and mathematics, what you can do, you can consult with me. No, I'm not boasting that I'm a great knowledgeable person and I have read a lot of books, but yes, I have read sufficient amount of books, and I can suggest you, depending upon all those points that I have just mentioned, and talking to you, I can suggest you whether you should purchase that book, or whether you should purchase a different book, or whether you should not purchase it. That you already have my email ID, you have my WhatsApp number. Before you put me on WhatsApp, I can give you a kind of an unbiased understanding, because I have read a lot of books in mathematics and physics, both hard copy and soft copy. I have a kind of an intuitive understanding based on your goals, objectives, and your knowledge. I can suggest the right book. So that's all. I think that these points are very important in order to look for a book. Remember, an entire paradigm shift from a subject to another subject, yet a very wrong book can destroy, and that actually happens. Either it destroys your interest forever and you curse that subject is not for me, or you waste a lot of time reading a wrong book, and then after a year or 6 months you realize that is not the wrong book. Then you start searching, and maybe that you find the right book. So I think these points will essentially help you develop a critical thought, and based on those you can select any general book in mathematics. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit on the subscribe button. If you like this video, click on the bell icon to get all the notification for Physics for Students. I will continue building this type of videos, which I think will be very essential and helpful for you. Physics for Students will be soon back with yet another very interesting video. But till then, goodbye, and do consult it with me if you really feel that you want a kind of a critical right approach before you purchase the book. Thank you very much for watching this video.